quickly this morning, other than congratulations to our group and a shout out to everybody joining us online, is, this process of earning this degree is special, and not just in the sense like, oh, it's differentiable from other degrees, because there's a lot of really cool independent stuff you have to do here, but the level of expectation, dynamic thinking, flexible thinking, and initiative that one has to take, not just in the context, right, of forming a capstone committee, executing a capstone, right, but the level at which you're taught really, really sophisticated, difficult stuff from day one. Let me just talk through it, right? This program occurs in 11 months, and it's a master's degree, and it's a master's degree that requires a capstone project, which is why we're here, which is the equivalent of putting together a thesis, essentially, for a master's degree in 1 year. And in the context of this program, we're bringing in people from backgrounds that are as varied as mine, as varied as, things that you would expect, right? Like environmental scientists, but journalists, lawyers, scientists from disciplines that don't necessarily touch on climate, that might touch on really, 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 really abstract stuff, and people just being drawn to this issue that's not just existential, but really, really darn interesting and really, really complicated. And to get everybody on the same page, people have to show up, settle into really, really expensive, overpriced housing in a really crowded area, and not have like a minute to breathe while doing that, and show up and have all day instruction that doesn't just require sitting there, but the classroom gets flipped on these students constantly a couple weeks into this quarter, and they're basically teaching each other, teaching the professors. And while all this is going on, the concepts they're being exposed to, yes, the math is being taken out, but these concepts in thermodynamics that I'm teaching in 2 weeks, that this particular group pushed me to a point where I had to go and study and challenge myself every night to make sure I delivered the material at a level that was both digestible and interesting to some people who had some really impressive physical intuitions and skills in this group. And then the opportunity, right, to see the level of engagement and independence with a capstone project where you have to identify a committee, right, learn and apply a skill that's non-trivial, something pretty darn hard. For example, coding. I find coding, right, and I have a PhD in atmospheric science, so I've like run computer models and stuff. Like even making a plot of a simple variable like temperature and precipitation that looks good and tells a scientific story, that's really, really, really hard. If I were mentoring PhD students in that first year, I would be like, yeah, we can talk about physics, maybe make a map or two, and take your classes, and we'll ease you into this. But for this, you get thrown right into it. And if it's not that science, there's other stuff, believe it or not, that's really, really, really complex and dense and requires a lot of independence. For example, the idea of making a film that's interesting and substantive and engaging and on topic on this timeline is, I thought, and 44 years old now. When I was 12 years old, my best friend down the street, Brandon Kahn, he's now a filmmaker. So I've seen some films be made, and I've seen some last-minute deadlines. And what some of these students did with some of these deliverables, I thought was impossible, right? And the composure, but also the realization of the importance of what they were taking on, right? While like, I need to find a committee, I need a good committee, I need this project to be good. There's not a single person in this group who was like, oh, I just need to graduate. What you're about to see, this is a passion project for everybody. It was well executed, and their stakeholders are happy and proud. And they did all of this. They did all of this while, as things change in our society. We always have, humans have always lived in times of great change and great tumult. And humans who have really, really, really made a difference have kind of always characteristically taken at some point in their life, a bit of a leap of faith. And I think coming into this degree program, sometimes when you have a really nice job in consulting, or you're progressing well through a nice career, and you're like, you know what, I want to do something with a little bit more specific interest to what I love, and that's the planet. And coming here and gaining these tools through a capstone and doing this project and executing this project in a time of tumult, in a time where a lot of people are thinking science, progress on climate, a lot of that might be under some threat, some duress. But what's going on in the private sector, what's going on in the hearts and minds of the public, and the energy and commitment and talent that I see coming into this climate space, I'm optimistic, and I see a path forward, and I see a group of people in front of me that I truly believe that don't just give me hope, but that are setting the tone, and a group of alumni that are taking the steps toward a just and equitable transition that seemed really, really hard. But if something seems really hard, why the hell not try to take it on? And I have a lot of optimism with regard to the climate issue, a lot of respect for this group, and I'm grateful for all of you who are here, and I think you're going to really enjoy the presentations today.